Oh, a microphony.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
You know, much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, I mean, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, should be obvious to everybody. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
Broadcasting from the basement bunker beneath Kello Radio. Welcome to the Fourth Hour. It's really great to have you along. I get so wrapped up as, I'm watching videos and I'm trying to grab some new material for you, maybe stuff that I haven't shared yet. What's new this morning? What else is out there? And I start getting wrapped up in those videos and it's like, oh, I got to get going. So anyway, thank you for being here. It's always great to be able to spend a little bit of time with you, whether it's on the air or here. Jonathan Turley is somebody that I really greatly admire. He's got a piece this morning over at Fox News. This is an opinion piece by Turley. He is a professor of law at George Washington University, and he is a libertarian, and he's talking about what's going on. Let's get the headline is that you've got Democrats, the Clintons, globalists are all working together to silence Americans. And this is pretty incredible. I was never one who was into, the New World Order in believing that. And Turley talks about it very clearly in this piece. And he's somebody who catches my attention because he is in no way a nut, So he writes about this, and I would steer you to the article because I can't do it justice. But he was talking about, the vice president when he was in Germany and people who were hopping on board and criticizing the vice president as he was supporting free speech. And, they were saying he was standing in a country where free speech was weaponized to conduct a genocide. That was Margaret Brennan of CBS. Again, that alone would just, for me, disqualify CBS. They lost all credibility. And they just continue to do so. And that is what is, to me, so amazing. We'll talk more about that in just a few moments. The Democrats, the legacy media, there is something going on there that is, just deeper than, we disagree about things. There is some sinister things that are happening there. But he goes on to talk about how the Clintons were there criticizing the Trump administration. And he says the appearance of Hillary Clinton was particularly chilling for the free speech community. Clinton has been unrelenting in her attacks on free speech and is a favorite of globalists who want to create, and here's the phrase, this new world order. After Musk bought Twitter with the intention of restoring free speech, Clinton called on the European Union to use its Digital Services Act to make Musk censor Americans. And she also suggested arresting those spreading disinformation. The EU did precisely that. They're now threatening Musk with fines unless he resumes the censorship of Americans and others. And Jonathan Turley is out there, and he's in the midst of all this. So, and again, he's far from a conservative Republican. He is not in lockstep with the Trump administration. But when it comes to free speech issues, Jonathan Turley is somebody I greatly admire. And so he talks about testifying before the Senate Judiciary Committee. and warning that the threat to free speech is real. And he says the EU then continues to move forward. This is what the piece is about. It was not surprising, therefore, that Nina Jankowicz, the former head of President Biden's infamous Disinformation Governance Board, appeared this week before the European Parliament. She called on the 27 EU countries to fight against the United States, which she called a world threat. That's who these people are. I mean, these are globalists, they're leftists, this is really crazy. And he says, how the Mary Poppins of disinformation came upon the European Union is little surprise. That she winds up, appearing before the most anti-free speech body in the world, the European Union. Here he's talking about. This is just incredible. He says, I've long been a critic of Jankowicz after the Biden administration reluctantly disbanded her board. She later moved to join a European group as a foreign agent to continue her work to block views that she considers disinformation. And this goes on. So read the entire piece. It's at foxnews.com this morning. It's a prominent piece by Jonathan Turley this morning at foxnews.com. There are some stories from Town Hall that I wanted to share, and this video is really wild. And they're talking about some of the progressive hosts of the Young Turks. If you've ever heard of the Young Turks podcast, some of you likely have listened to it on occasion. So the hosts are left-wing, but I think this is Matt Vespa writing this. Yep. Matt Vespa says they're left-wing, but they're not crazy. One left the Democratic Party, had enough of their woke antics. The other seem resigned to a Republican victory. He sat down with the Blaze recently talking about the left. I want you to watch this, about a minute and a half long. And he's just incredibly frustrated at what Democrats are doing. I think a lot of this will sound familiar to you.
Nothing wrong with that. And of course, on the left, guys, my God, we are offended at everything. We're offended at everything. And it's so annoying. And so the fact that the left can't see that is amazing, because now to my friends on the left who think, oh, no, you're just validating the right wing, etc. Guys, there's objective reality. When 79% of the country tells you that they don't want transgender women playing in women's sports, okay, you can say that you don't agree with that position. Nothing wrong with that. There's 18% who say yes.
Agreed.
Right? But understand that you're in the 18% and you're not in the 79%. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean that one person is more right morally or not, but it does mean you're in the minority and your positions seem radical to others. Yeah. Right. And they can't get that through their head. They think, no, everybody thinks like us. It's only the fascists who say keep Messi out of women's soccer or LeBron out of women's basketball.
He's absolutely
right. No, it's not just the fascists. It's 80% of the country. So please, and when you go to burst these bubbles, the people inside the bubbles hate you.
Yeah.
So that's the situation I'm in.
Well, look,
he's absolutely right. That's the situation. That's the situation that he's in now. He's left wing, so he's, he and I are not going to agree on a lot of things, but I absolutely agree with him on everything that he just said there. He's absolutely right. The way that folks react, and the left wing in particular in this country react, it's even he is sitting there. Hey, guys, you are not in step with the rest of the country. You're entitled to what you believe, but understand that you're not in step with the rest of the country, and they just will not relent. And it's the same way, whether it's on transgenders in sports, whether it's regarding Mr. Garcia, who is currently being held down in El Salvador. It's the same kind of thing. You got Democrats who are out there who are, making a big issue of this. And again, just like he was talking about, not understanding you or even caring that they are out of step with the majority of Americans on this issue. And that's what's so absolutely amazing. I am just blown away by that. What causes that? I don't know. That leftist must control the Clintons, Hillary in particular, are just absolutely gripped by that. And she always has been, in my opinion. I have never liked her personally. I've never liked her politically. I just never believed that she had anything to offer this country but misery. And now she's out there appealing to the European Union, trying to censor the free speech of Americans. I mean, wow, that stuff is, there are some things that are going on that if you would ask me 20 years ago, I wasn't seeing it then. Some were. I mean, I've got to give some people credit. They've been seeing it for a long time. It's pretty incredible as you watch it. There is another story, okay, from Town Hall that I'll share with you. Again, it's Matt Vespa, so cheers to Matt. Watch America's most controversial White House correspondent wreck a CNN reporter to his face. Okay, now I must say the headline alone, okay, I'm going to click on this. This is like the number one story at Town Hall right now is this. So I'll share some of this video here. He writes, before we mention her brutal takedown of CNN, needs to be said that the lack of self-awareness from the mainstream press is astounding. Your influence is waning. Your product is subpar. That's why millions are turning to new information ecosystems. It's exactly what we were talking about with the new media chair this morning during the show. And Tim Pool, who was in the new, was the new media correspondent that the White House had in earlier this week. And Tim Pool just eviscerated the media. And he did it very politely, never raised his voice. It was beautiful. A shout out to Tim Pool, because that was just absolutely amazing. But Vespa says, saying I'm a reporter with the New York Times is akin to wearing a sign saying, I'm brain damaged, sick and adult if you see me trying to put my fingers in an electrical socket. Vespa is funny. So the CNN journalist is asking her whether are you a real journalist? Are you a real journalist? Now, this is coming from somebody from CNN. Let's see if I can pull that.
This is my first time in here.
Well, you're only probably with the most controversial White House correspondents.
One of the most controversial White House correspondents. She says she doesn't pull her punches with this at all. Let's see.
To the people, and
Here
I'm
it
sure
comes.
you see this online every single day, who say you don't deserve to be here because you're not a real journalist. What's your response to them?
Well, I'm pretty sure the group of people in there spent, 4 years covering for someone who was essentially dead, and that's being charitable in my description of him, a president by the name of Joe Biden. So to all those people who are apoplectic over having new media voices, you guys failed, and that's why we're here.
The chair of the White House Correspondents Association, a group.
Yeah, you guys failed, and that's why we're here. That's why Tim Pool, and forgive me, I didn't give you her entire name. She's with the Steve Bannon War Room. Natalie Winters, White House correspondent for Steve Bannon's War Room. And so everybody getting all worked up. And she talks about this in the piece. She says that of most of them, they're getting worked up, but they don't say anything to her. She's there, and it's kind of like under their breath, or one of those sideways glances at her, and she knows, but she just keeps doing her thing. I love this. I love the courage of these people. They're right in the viper's nest, So they're right in the viper's nest, and they don't care. I don't know that I could do that. That seriously, I think that takes great courage of the folks who do this. Incredible amount of courage, because the disdain of the media just must be almost dripping, at times when she's in there. Okay, there was one other story that I want to share with you this morning, and this is in a totally different vein. It's really kind of a good news story. This is from Fox News. Police say they're stunned by the food and the support coming from FSU students after that campus shooting this week. One Florida State University student in particular left them some cookies with a heartfelt thank you note. I want to show it to you there. Thank you for risking your life on Thursday, April 17th. As students at Florida State, we are so thankful for your bravery and courage. Your actions did not go unnoticed. We hope you enjoy these cookies as a small token for our eternal gratitude. She's a senior at FSU. That's incredible. And police, now you have police responding to this and saying the outpouring of love from the community has been outstanding, but especially from the students themselves. So this was, and you're seeing photos there of officers and some of the students posing for a photograph. Police were working to ensure the campus was safe. Students took it upon themselves to go to CVS and buy several cases of water for the officer, and just brought it back themselves. We've had since then cookies, donuts, sandwiches that the students have all brought over just to say thank you for being there for them. It just means more when you know that people who are doing it were directly impacted by the tragedy. That's incredible. I appreciate that. I have made no bones to you that I am a big supporter of law enforcement. Just over my shoulder, you see the "We Back the Blue" sign that I keep in a very prominent position just under the live on air sign. "We Back the Blue." Because I'm a very big supporter of law enforcement, the work that they do. I pray for them every morning that they'll be safe, that the Lord will watch over them. And, it's one of a number of prayers that I go through. I don't mind telling you, I'm not in the car very long, because when you're on the road at about 3:30, 3:45 in the morning, there's not much traffic in Sioux Falls. The biggest obstacle is the heads up to, the city. Traffic signals. 3:45, really? We got to be slowing people down at 3:45. I'm just saying. It's been a bitch of mine for a long time. But I appreciate law enforcement and the work that they do, and to see those students and their reaction and that outpouring of support. And I've told you before, you see a law enforcement officer, if you're at Quick Trip and you run into a law enforcement officer, tell them thank you. Just tell them, hey, I appreciate what you do. I just think it's important that they know that we are behind. That's a tough job. And you look at, some of the suicide rates among law enforcement. They carry a lot on their shoulders. They see a lot of things. They're dealing with a lot of things that they have seen, some incredibly difficult. So keep them in your thoughts and your prayers, and give them your thanks. Those students at FSU certainly did. And I wanted to point that out. I thought that was just really a great story. Okay, there we are for today. That's a wrap from the bunker. And you have made it to the end of the video. You are part of my gallery of champions. A big thank you for being here. Hit that like button before you leave. I'd really appreciate that. More and more of you are doing it. So thank you very much. Bring other people into our circle. I'd appreciate it. So I'll see you again tomorrow. So long until then. And I'm underground and gone.